can all stand up to Hepburn's hussars.
With Glowing Hearts is likely one of the most important and authentic plays at this year's Fringe. But there is one element that stretches the limits of believability.
Of course, it would have to be the meanest day of the year.
40 bloody below with wind on top of it.
The 4 lead actors are required to don heavy clothing for much of the play to simulate winter conditions, even though it may be sweltering outside and inside during the show's run.
Yeah, it's warm to say the least. I don't know if it's totally convincing when the audience sees the sweat dripping down our heads that we're freezing cold. But yeah, you learn how to move in your body and how to embody certain conditions even if they're not the reality.
But the actors involved in the production agree it's worth all the sweat in the world to bring this story to the stage. With Glowing Hearts looks at efforts in the 1940s and 50s by the wives of miners in small towns to organize and demand better conditions for their husbands.
I think the story, we often would hear it from the male's perspective, how the unions were formed in the gold mining industry. And this really tells the story of the women and the ladies' auxiliary and the immense struggle that they had to go through and what they all had to do behind the scenes.
The true story also examines how the efforts of these women helped bring about changes for all working Canadians.
What we typically call today the social safety net, pensions and unemployment insurance and health care and all of those provisions that make our lives better.
And the story has been a labor of love for Quinlan, a researcher in the U of S sociology department. She spent about 6 years visiting archives across the country to find little-known information about what she calls these 4 unassuming women and the obstacles they faced.
The amount of documentation that was available in those archives on the women as opposed to the men was a lot more limited. So even the recognition that they could and did play a role, I think was part of the resistance.
The play was first conceived to be performed as part of a labor conference. But Block believes it's important to get it out to a wider audience at the Fringe, as many of the issues examined are still relevant.
Fringe gives the opportunity for people that haven't faced worker safety problems before to realize that this is a problem and it's something that we all need to support and recognize, and we all need to work together to make this world safer.
And while those attending the show likely won't be familiar with the story going in, Maury believes they will grow to see these women for the heroes they are, much as those who are portraying them have.
And just the lives that they would have lived and how challenging it was, but also how charming they were, it really made me fall in love with the play, with the character, with everything, and I really hope the audience can feel the same, just feel that connection.
With Glowing Hearts plays at the Victoria School Gymnasium through Saturday, August 6th. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Simon Hyatt.
Standing up for ourselves.